Set that. Oh. Well, here I am with the car that had a podium finish on drag week, but not at zero cost. We're thinking that we spun a bearing in this engine, so now comes the teardown phase. Unfortunately to me, it smells like shit in here, and that would be because the first thing that happened to me today, right when I walked in here, is I guess a cat got in and I stepped in a pile of cat poop. So hopefully that is no sign for how this work is going to go today.
You're fucked.
Don't do that with a fender that you care about. Success. Now that things are a little easier to get to, I can go ahead and start pulling everything else apart. Kind of can talk about during drag week. Surprisingly, we didn't have any issues with like the supercharger or anything like that. We were worried because ours kind of sounds like Gargoyle's marbles, but also at the same time, we're almost thinking that it really doesn't produce much boost at all. I'm officially going to ruin our timing that we had perfectly set. In the count of 3. 1, 2. Maybe not. It's Frenched in there, I guess.
Baguette.
There we go. Just needed a little motivation. And there is, there is our Hyper Spark Sparkulator. Right here, I'm going to find out how much metal there is in the oil. So I have that loose. Well, so I have that loose. Let's see if it's shimmery as can be. We know we did some damage on that last pass of drag week. Don't mind the coolant missing completely. Ooh, not bad so far. What I'm gonna do here is shine a light. See that light? I see a little something there, but I think that might be residual something that was already on the pan. Overall though, there is no shimmer in the, well, there's a very light shimmer in this drain pan. But the whole front assembly came off pretty easy for the most part. Only had minimal spillage on the ground, but there you can see the car is coming back apart. As you could probably all imagine, my favorite thing to pull off this car is the headers. Mainly because we do it so often, it's just such a great experience. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Actually, to be honest, I was hoping that this past time, for last time, I would put these on, but should have known better than that. That's suspiciously loose already, so that's good. You want your header bolts to just be snug. You don't want them to be tight, because then how are you supposed to have an exhaust? Above each one of these tubes, you can see a little burn mark on the cylinder head, which means good things, means we're leaking a touch. But that is what you want, as we previously just talked about. Helps keep you just loopy enough to keep working on cars while you're driving down the road. Oh, another one that's just barely tight. I think my favorite part has been about this is all of these are maybe hand tight, and then the only thing that stops them from coming off is they rub up against the tube as you turn them, so that's where it gets hard. But that maybe explains why our exhaust moved and there was a little bit of exhaust leak and a little sound. And here we are once again with a removed header with no paint. I'm gonna show you something here pretty quick. Over here you'll notice we have one spark plug that part of the wire ripped off of. So maybe that one wasn't even sparking, who knows? It is officially time to remove the brain of the operation, which would be the Sniper EFI on top. We are going to make it so this car officially is brainless once again, only temporarily though. First step will be removing these fuel lines, which are, I'm now noticing 2 different screwdrivers to do 2 different ones because must have ran out of connectors. And then it'll squirt gas all over my hands that I conveniently just took my gloves off. So that'll be good. And, no, maybe I should get a rag. You think I should get a rag? Let's see. Oh, there we go. This is gonna essentially do nothing except make me feel better about it. Oh, there's gas all over that hand. What is that, premium 93? And spill gas all over this hand now. Yep, oh, there we go, perfect. Now that everything's nice and flammable, it kind of stinks in here. I might light a match real quick.
With breaking news, News Chopper 12 over a massive fire you see there and an explosion on Milwaukee's north.
What do you guys think about Sniper EFI? We had an interesting moment where, we're talking about our car to Tony Angelo, stay tuned, after he called us out for making a little short. So this year, there's some controversy in the Gasser class. Blasphemy has been converted to independent front suspension rather than the typical straight axle. Do you think it's still considered a Gasser? Put it in the comments below. And we told him that we had Sniper EFI control in this thing, and he went, oh, throw that in the garbage. I don't know. I thought that, for us, it seems like it does pretty good. He said carburetor is the way to go. What do you think? Do you think carburetor, or do you think go with modern tech? I was just packing up to leave and I was like, you know what? I want to pull off the valve cover. So I want you guys to see it with me. We'll see if there's any damage in the valve cover. Well, did I undo all the bolts? Ignore that struggle I just did. Turns out there was one bolt still in it. But, oh, would you look at that? I think I found out what our squeak was. No shit. What are you up to down there?
Doing my darndest to get this oil pan off. And I've got to work around all these freaking bars that are in my face.
You saying that our straight axle car is not easy to work around?
Apparently you don't need to be a straight axle to be a gasser anymore, so
our car is going back to A-arm. This is our new cross member that's going in. Our new A-arms and Viking coilovers.
make the switch.
Who said that?
I don't want to call anyone out, but Tony Angelo, he's going to come after me.
You said a
Controversy, huh?
controversy, huh?
He was just on the Tosh.0 show.
Says you will die in
You
this.
will definitely die in this if you do anything stupid.
Yeah,
The
I saw that.
12.0 podcast.
I didn't actually watch the podcast, but I saw that he was on there.
Yeah. I've seen a few of those episodes. I think they're pretty good.
All he'll have
They're
to say
interesting
back-
because he interviews some random fucking people.
We gonna get on?
Are we?
Yeah.
No, we're not. We're not mid-level famous yet.
What if we created a show called Josh.0?
That's funny. I like it.
The only way we're getting on a show.
You see this? Look over on this side. Like, I'm reaching, like, through fucking steering and... Oh,
Your
God.
arms are dirty.
Also, I can get one knuckle on a fucking bolt. Ooh, here's an idea for you.
Okay.
We do our own drag and drive event where all of the stops, you have to play a round of golf. Then
Yeah,
go to a
now.
drag strip, then drive to the next one. That would be
And
fucking sick.
so at the end of the week, you have to have the lowest team average in ET and score.
Yeah, I think that'd be a pretty good one.
Drag, golf, and drive.
Being dripped on. Because we did all of this out of order.
Mess down
I'm
here.
trying to figure out where I can put my hands.
Here, wait. I got a hand on the...
Oh, yep, it is.
All right, now drop the pan. Is it called? You get more in your eyes?
That was in my mouth.
So this may be a two-man job, if we can even get
Feels
it
like
up.
it's caught on.
All right, hop on out for a sec.
What is going on with this mess?
On this episode of Running Rust, you see how to not use a ratchet strap. We pretty much decided we couldn't get the cherry picker close enough, and we didn't want to have to jack up the car because that's a lot of work. So we're like, well, let's just wrap a ratchet strap around the front and lift it up, and hopefully it all stays together. Oil pan had to come off. There was a little bit of shimmer in the bottom, but a small enough amount that I feel that I'm comfortable with just swapping out the pump and calling it a day. What do you think?
We are in the final steps of trying to get the oil pan gasket and pump replaced. We're putting everything back together. How do you think it's going?
I think this is a great use of our time and resources. It was way easier to do this with the engine in the car.
We decided to try and leave the engine in the car and just use a hoist to angle it up and work
Safer this
around
way, too.
the steering and the front axle. What'd you say?
I said it was definitely safer this way too. I mean, the engine is very secure.
That's not going anywhere.
That's a $1.99 ratchet strap. I mean,
That was a
trust
free
as well.
ratchet strap, actually.
That's a free ratchet strap. They don't give them away because they're bad quality. They give them away because they're really good.
You tell us, should we have just pulled the engine out and taken the extra half hour? And miss out on all of this fun?
So, a man crushed and killed by the car he was working under.
Yeah, it happened in the 50s.
While I was under here installing this beautiful oil pan, we got Hunter over here working on his truck instead of helping out.
It's only a one-man job. We're both working on oil stuff.
Yeah.
You're changing an oil pan gasket, I'm changing my oil.
I don't know. One
Who
feels...
got the better job? You tell us.
So here you'll see the intake's coming off because a bolt fell down. The intake has a crush gasket, so we'll have to buy new intake gaskets. I'm kidding. It was a joke.
Dude, don't lose more stuff.
No promises.
You dropped it in the one spot that you're not allowed to.
Inside the engine.
It's Operation the Wacky Doctor's Game, where you're the wacky doctor. Batteries not included.
I did a whoopsie.
That little bit could have destroyed the entire engine.
This time for speed, instead of torquing it, we're just gonna put them with the DeWalt. I just found out the hard way that my oil pump works really, really well. I went up there and was priming it with a drill, and all of a sudden, crazy oil spill all over the floor. Why is that? It was coming out of the filter. I forgot to check to see if the old filter seal stayed on the engine. Now we gotta buy oil and clean up a huge mess. Always check. Well, I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit nervous. We have the engine all put back together and all wired, and everything is plumbed up, and it's full of oil, not water, as you can see. But we're gonna try to start this car for the first time since we exploded a bunch of stuff inside of it, and we're gonna see if it happens to not sound forward. Here comes the thunder. Screen works this time. Didn't work.
That doesn't sound good.
So what just happened, Hunter?
We had the bright idea that we would test start the engine without putting the radiator on, because we didn't want to have the engine get pumped full of fluid if something was wrong and we had to tear it apart. Well, we forgot about the trans cooler lines, so it just pumped transmission fluid everywhere.
But
the engine did start.
there you go.
All right, we are going to fire up the engine, fully put together. Hopefully there's going to be 0 leaks, and as long as there's 0 leaks, we'll get it filled up with coolant, and then we'll be back on the road.
Yesterday, we got this car running for the first time since the catastrophe on the last day of drag week where we lost a lifter and stuff. But it kind of ran not great. Essentially, we could hear a lot of chatter. It sounded like valve train chatter. And I think that we just had it all adjusted wrong. So I took it back, pulled everything apart, and just went through the valve train and made sure to do it, you know, with the intake opening, exhaust closing, blah, blah, blah. Did it in order and was real careful about it. So hopefully when I get this together, it should get rid of that clatter, but we'll find out. Good news, the tick appears to be 90% gone. Weather this car has ever been able to drive in. Snowy, gross. Couldn't be happier that we're doing it though. So our quick 3-second burnout just so happened to get us a ticket. So it looks like we're not going to do burnouts in this area anymore. Sylvania is not pro smoke. Not pro smoke. Thumbs down.